Hi everyone, my name is Nathan Chi from TwelveLabs, and today I'm super excited to be presenting to you guys our latest project, that being the TwelveLabs Automated Video Data Labeler. And so essentially what this project is it'll help teams of various industries essentially ingest large amounts of video content or video data and autonomously be able to extract useful annotations and labels and clusters within their video data. And so this is really powerful not only for data scientists to be able to visualize patterns within large amounts of video data, but also actually be able to build training ready machine learning data sets for either training, validation, etc. And so we'll get to see exactly how this platform works and how it can really be useful in a business setting to actually reduce the costs of manual labeling. For a long time, video data required humans to label things. So for example, like for self-driving cars, you needed to label people, other vehicles, the way it was turning, things like that. But with TwelveLabs models, Marengo and Pegasus being able to understand videos just like humans do, we're able to extract that entire process away, have it be not only much cheaper as you don't need to hire any humans to do this task anymore, but also much faster as AI can process video way faster and annotate it way faster than humans can. And so to see this project in action, it is not only deployed here in this link that you can find in the GitHub repository that will be in the description below. But within this GitHub repository, you can actually deploy a local version on your own. We have a lot of content here regarding required API keys, exactly how to run it locally, so how to clone the repository, install the necessary dependencies, and then run it. And also to how to actually deploy it on Vercel. So if you want to have a modified version or run your own test on your own video data, you can of course feel free to take a look at the code and see how it all works. And so without further ado, I will go ahead and demo this application. So there's really two tabs here. There's the overview tab, which goes over essentially what I explained, sort of the data labeling bottleneck we're trying to solve with this project, some of the core features, as well as really cool how it really works. So you get to see some of the little code snippets here on how we actually do some of the most important functionality of this project. So I won't go over exactly how we built the components in React.js, but rather more of the backend functionality. And so one of the really cool things is, for example, how we implemented principal component analysis to reduce the 2560 dimension vector embeddings into 2D embeddings to visualize clusters. And so we'll get to see exactly how that looks. And then cool. So within this project, you'll start off with an index. And the reason why we have indexes is really so that production companies and individuals with multiple different data sets can sort of split their data sets as needed. As you typically don't want like a medical data set alongside a self-driving car data set, as that wouldn't really make sense in terms of visualizing clusters or visualizing patterns within your data. And then so you can of course start here, create an index. You can have an index name. So for example, I could say like self-driving car, and then of course index description, large video data set of first person POV driving. And so the name here doesn't really fully matter. It's just so that you can keep track of which data sets you've actually indexed. And then when it comes to video uploading, you can very quickly just upload a quick batch of your videos. And you can see that the total estimated processing time to upload it to TwelveLabs is visualized here. You can remove videos, upload videos, and then create your index there. And then once you create your index, it should look something like this. So I'm going to click into the self-driving car dataset. This is one of the test datasets on the official website that you can actually play around with. And then from here, we have a bunch of interesting features. So for one, you can see I've already indexed a couple videos. So unindexed videos will allow you to click on them like this, and then here you can sort of choose how you want 12Labs' models to understand your video and annotate them. Do you want scene level, where it's really fairly general annotations between 10 seconds and 30 seconds? Or do you want action level, very descriptive data sets where time really matters and things are happening very quick within your data set? And then if that's the case, you can choose action level annotation densities. And then so here you can also see the amount of money we saved as well as the amount of time we saved. So this is really where 12Labs can really help solve that data labeling bottleneck, as it takes a while for humans to not only first and foremost watch the entire video, but to then go back, annotate it precisely. That is a lot of manual work. And so here we have something called labeled taxonomy, in which you can specify which labels you want to be prioritized within your annotation. So for example, if I wanted to click cars, buildings, we could add that before we click annotate video to have those labels actually prioritized for us. And so I'll go ahead and annotate this one video real quick for us to see. Once you click annotate, it'll change into a processing state, and then you'll see here it says 12Labs is currently watching the video. And so that process might take, it really depends on the length of your video, but it will for sure be faster than a human actually watching that video play out. And so in the meantime, I will showcase to you the embedding cluster visualization. So this part uses PCA to essentially reduce the vector dimensionality into 2D, and then we can see sort of clusters of similar videos here. We can click and drag around and pan around this canvas. So this is just one really interesting use case. It's not necessarily related to data annotation, but it's an example of how data scientists can really implement this when it comes to trying to understand video data and also trying to annotate it as well. And so we see here that our annotation here is now finished. We can go ahead and click onto it. And remember, we specified car here, and we can see that it really did try to focus in on cars. And so we can see here in this interactive timeline exactly where cars appear. And pretty much as you'd expect in a driving scene like this, it is pretty much throughout the entire video. And you can see specific timestamps, and you can also view the raw JSON data that 12Labs actually generated. And then so what you'll notice here is that there is a certain confidence score as well. So this confidence score represents how confident 12Labs thinks that this annotation is correct. Sometimes it is not, sometimes the scene can be blurry and it won't be as accurate or as confident in its annotation. In that case, your video would actually have a red dot instead of a green dot. And so that is to provide human in the loop feedback so that these annotations can be really production ready for your company. And then so of course, to enable this human in the loop feedback, we've also added a quick little edit annotation modal here. So where you can add either objects or actions, add that tag name and save and verify here. But once your annotations look all good for your indexing, it's time to actually bring this to production and bring this to other departments within your company. And then so you can very quickly click download, and you can download it in various formats: a JSON dataset, a CSV spreadsheet, or a COCO format, which is essentially the standard format for any object detection model training. But in this case, we'll just go ahead and use JSON dataset. And once we click that, we can very quickly see that we've been able to download it here. And we can see that within our dataset, we have confidence scores, timestamps, descriptions, scene classifications with those tags that we annotated out. And yeah, so you can see that this is super, super useful. And we were able to annotate that 48-second video really in under a minute, which might seem like a lot, but if you think about having to hire a human and then the human having to look back, rewatch the video multiple times, it is much faster and much cheaper. And so yeah, if this project does interest you, I really encourage you to first and foremost view the source code. You can also view exactly how this was made with the Lucidchart documentate architecture diagram here. If you click on that little orange button, it'll lead you to this diagram in which you can see all the different parts and components that we use to build this application. And then so if any of this does interest you and you'd like to work with 12Labs at an enterprise level, I really do encourage you to really first and foremost explore around with really who we are. So here I've linked a few research papers, and you can of course talk to our sales team if you have something specifically in mind that you want 12Labs to be implemented with. And so yeah, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this quick little walkthrough. And yeah, thank you so much.